Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Welcome to the 2026 Fix with me, Mel.
and me, Rita.
I felt like the little Forrest when he was like, "Hello, Mr. Gump." In Forrest Gump.
I'm the little Forrest Gump, and she's the big Forrest
Yeah,
Gump.
but that's the way I started off. Hello, everybody.
All right, the
Hello,
other way
Mr. Gump.
around.
Yeah. Anyway,
And if you haven't watched Forrest Gump, you should.
why haven't you? It's
Yeah.
like 2026 and you haven't watched it. I hate to make a judgment, but yeah, you might be living under a rock. Watch it. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today, Reet?
We're talking about health.
And the point of neglecting health
And not neglecting health.
and why you shouldn't neglect health. And again, I think that kind of leads to something that we've been asking ourselves throughout the week is about, how do you want your 85-year-old self to be like? And when you envision that, what is it that you see? So therefore, what is it that you need to do now in order to get there?
Yeah. I think it's something we overlook, especially if we're younger, which is understandable. When me and Mel were in our heyday.
Heyday. I.e., people don't understand that what she means is in our 20s,
Am I
teens.
showing my age?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, like
Let's just drink the
whatever.
fizzy drinks, the sodas. Let's just eat the kebabs and everything. It's fine. We can eat it. And then I remember I was like, oh, I've got such a high metabolism. I don't put on weight. And then what happens? As soon as you as soon as you hit post 35, the spread occurs.
Yep, I did warn you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, I got such a high metabolism, which was really annoying for like my colleagues to hear it at the time. I'm sure those that were in their 40s, because they were probably like, oh, just shut up. But the spread happens, or it's in different ways. So it could be the spread externally and even internally without you realizing it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one big major factor is often we don't think about what's going on internally.
No.
We just think about what we're craving for externally and what we look like. And you could be a really slim person, but you could be as really unhealthy. There could be a lot going on internally that you're not aware of because you keep feeding yourself junk food on a regular basis. And I'm not...
Well, not even junk food. It could just be ultra processed foods.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that, we don't have junk food.
No,
we don't have ultra processed foods or fizzy drinks occasion. But I think as we've got older, we've realized, no, hold on.
We need to do that a lot less.
Yeah. The body needs support. And I think this is where we kind of want to stress upon, is that as you get older, you do age faster, as Mel discovered this week when you said
so it was an article that I read. I can't actually remember the source because, brain fog and all that. But that to one side, they said that when you get to 50, that's when the aging process accelerates. And I was like, oh my gosh.
So I'm accelerating well fast.
Yeah, you're accelerating well fast, so long as you put the right things in place so that you maintain a balance of the acceleration. So anyone who's in their 40s plus, i.e. me, then we're getting to this point of when, right, what can we do now? Not to say that not accelerate it, but accelerate it in a better way. So how do you make sure that you do that the right way without the constant need of medication, without the needs of having to make drastic lifestyle changes? And when I mean lifestyle changes, I mean basically because you've been put on medication, or you've had to have surgery, or you're having multiple hospital appointments. What can you do now to help that? What can you monitor? What can you identify now so that you can have an elderly life that is much more healthier and more active than what you might end up getting if you continue to neglect it?
Yeah. And I just think it's just awareness, you've got to be aware of what your body needs, and is it not as functioning as optimally as it used to, and what are the slight changes? I always read when people have had major health shocks, is they always say they did kind of get an idea that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And they needed to get to the bottom of it. Why was it that this sudden feeling came up? And it's important to get that checked out. And to me, sometimes I feel that it's good to get not even sometimes, it's definitely good to get a regular blood test.
Full blood.
To go to your doctor and say, look, I want a full checkup and see what's going on, because we don't know. And if
everything.
we tend to be reactive a lot when it comes to health. It's like, until you get ill, I'll go to the doctor. And, and it's like, well, no, let's get proactive.
And start to have the checks in place.
Because then that makes you more aware of, hold on, this doesn't feel right. I feel more tired every day, or this pain is not going away. What is it?
Preach.
But I think because I'm like in my 50s, it's a serious time, like you said, you accelerate with age.
But what prompted you to think that way? Because you're coming from this point of where, we're obviously trying to make sure it's a warning to everyone to make sure you look after yourself. But what's made you so passionate about it?
I think I'd say, first of all, I've always had an awareness of what we put into our bodies, especially as I've got into my 30s. 30s, 40s. I remember sitting on a bus and looking. There were some people that came in the morning when I was on my way to work and would drink a Diet Coke and have crisps first thing in the morning. And the first thing that I go to is, what is going on internally that you're having that for breakfast? So I've always had that awareness of what is going on internally. But in terms of myself, when I've had, like, say, for example, my recent blood tests, I've had where my thyroids were something that I needed to have an awareness of, because they weren't functioning as great as they should. There was something slightly wrong there, which was causing me to have foot problems. So that was connected. So I went initially for the foot problem, and they said, okay, let's check your thyroids. And voila, that was connected. But also, your thyroids play up because you're perimenopausal, and also the cholesterol and the pre-diabetic. It's like all these things came up, and it was like, wow, okay, I need to be on top of this. So it was an awareness that, yes, you could indulge, but you have to pull back a bit and have that balance.
And there was also the high blood pressure as well, wasn't it? Because
they
realized that you were pre-hypertension.
Yeah.
So, and then
that was true. Yeah, that was really high. And so it was like, they advised, okay, low salt or no salt, and cutting down on certain things. And I just did that straight away. And within a week, it was back to normal.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need that wake up to be like, okay, this is what I need to put in place. But then it's to be consistent with it, because I thank God that I am in my 50s and I am not on medication.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, that's my own journey, and this is why I'm so passionate about health.
Yeah, and I think also for myself was that when I was having a busy job, and it was like, traveling here and there, being on it like straight for 8 hours a day, not even really having a gap unless you had a lunch break. And my energy levels just went so low to the point of I was anemic. So I had to take a course of folic acid. And then when I was still feeling quite low on energy, turns out that my cortisol was dangerously low. So I then had to up my cortisol. And it's just things like, being aware that actually people talk about lowering your cortisol, but actually you need to have it balanced. It's not about having it really low and definitely not really high, because your stress levels will then cause things like cancer and, all sorts of other health problems. So it was like, actually, okay, well, let me start managing my cortisol. So how do I do that? And of course, for me and Rita, we're more like, right, what's the alternative ways that we can do that naturally? And it was like, getting a sad lamp, that sort of stuff, which has helped really, really well.
But I think it helped also, just to step in there, is because I trained as a hormone health therapist.
So providing, getting that
info was like, I could actually support you and say, right, you're got low cortisol, this is what you need to do, kind of thing. So in a way, that course has helped me, so I can help others as well, and that Mel can gain some info from it as well, which is why.
Yeah. And you know what, by the way, listeners, I can really I feel her passion, because she's like banging on this cushion that's behind me. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, my head's like kind of moving with this passion that she's doing.
Hey, it's not a bad thing to be passionate about.
It's a good thing to be passionate, but I'm feeling it, not just hearing it. So yeah. So, but no, exactly. So it was like, with her having that in her background and in her own studies, it actually ends up helping me. And then also understanding the certain triggers of hormone health issues, knowing to the fact that obviously being perimenopausal, etc. It's like, okay, well, how do I manage this better? How do I manage my periods better, etc.? All of these things come hand in hand. And a lot of it was about, being aware of your hormones, which are also making those changes, which therefore you have to be aware of those changes in health, because of the fact of the stage of life that you're in. But yeah, so with that, it's like, it was about taking the precautions or the alternative remedies to kind of help with that. And, and again, a lot of people have said, oh, but my GP won't listen to me. And then they'll just kind of put you on a course of medication. And it's like, well, get a second opinion. But also, we've got these things where we can do research as well. You can research on certain courses of medication or things that might have been suggested, so if it is right for you. Because unfortunately, we're not all the same, and that was the one thing that Rita always kind of says with all of her like consultations. Every single body is different, so you can't just have a blanket, right, you need HRT, or you're going to need folic acid, or everyone's going to need a cortisol lamp or a SAD lamp, or everyone's going to need this, everyone's going to need this vitamin. Everyone's going to have things that are different to them, because their DNA and their hormones are different, because that's how we were created. And it's about understanding what is going on with you and understanding what is right for you in terms of the course of treatment, or the right course of alternative remedies, if that's what you're looking to do.
And I think also, don't follow blindly on social media and think it is a
lion's mane is going to work for everyone. For example,
because like for me, that didn't work.
You sure about that? No, I'm just joking.
I find myself, since I've come off it, much more on point, much more focused. And I think for me, that's to do with the fact that we've started eating less meat, and we're eating more vegan, vegetarian, fish, a lot
pescatarian
more.
That's not vegan, by the way.
No, vegan and fish. And that's sort of, I find, has helped me in terms of a lot. And I'm someone that loves meat.
Yeah.
And to actually have willingly done that and kept on, and actually just, one weekend we just bought no meat, and we just had practically vegan and vegetarian, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was vegan that weekend, and then we had a bit of fish during the week.
Yeah,
but generally
we did it without
vegan.
even thinking. It was like, and we enjoyed it. It was so. Sometimes when you are needing to be health conscious, it can actually be a time of discovery
of new foods, new ways of cooking.
Well, I mean, me and Mel are food lovers, so anyway, but that can be quite fun. Thinking, oh, let's try this. Let's see whether we like that.
I think like with that, it was like one evening we had a vegan burger, right? So we put this vegan burger and we thought, okay, well, there was an actual fact, I think we were looking for beef, but then I saw that there was so many additives and a whole load of like stuff that I was like, well, why is that even in a burger? It should be like clean and, you know, and just be like 100% beef. Okay, maybe with a bit of spices and whatever. So then when we saw the vegan burger, we said, well, why don't we just give this a try? Plus it was cheaper, by the way. Going vegan is actually cheaper. And then we made it. We made that burger. And I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. That was probably the most delicious burger I have had in quite a while.
Yeah.
It was really, really tasty. And I'm thinking, why am I even enjoying this a lot more than if I just had like a normal beef burger? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, but it was really good. So not only was it cheaper, but it was good for you. And even in terms of some of like, okay, when it is something that is kind of like a burger remake, because that's basically what it was. Okay, fair enough, you might need to look at some of the other ingredients, but I was just shocked at how like I wasn't low in energy, because red meat does make me low in energy. I was actually okay. Plus, I saved a bit of money. I actually saved £3 on that than buying the beef one that we would have got
for
before.
That particular product.
Yeah, for that particular product. I saved £3 on that. Other one would have been £5.
Me, when you save money in this day and age,
you put it in the pot. But on that note, when I mentioned about your 85-year-old self, I mean, the main reason why we're coming from that angle is because our dad is 83, and unfortunately, he does have a lot of like medical problems, and that are good. Don't get me wrong, he is getting healthier in certain other ways. Diabetes is gone, or it's basically on point, like in terms of how he's maintained it. Cholesterol's not a concern and anymore, and just in general he's doing okay, but there's been these spikes of illnesses and hospital admissions, bless him, that have made us think about, wow, like to the point of, yes, obviously he's in his 80s, but we know from growing up that unfortunately he wasn't the most healthiest person. He didn't exercise, he wasn't into like super healthy eating. It was like, he liked his treats. He loves his sweets. He loves his fast food as well, and it wasn't just like moderation. It was a lot. I mean, we grew up on not having water.
Yeah, we used to.
It was just Coke all the time.
It was never. Yeah,
it was always sodas. Fizzy drink. And then we had to consciously change that, because it was like, well, we're just feeding ourselves sugar, where literally our liquid is also sugar. So what do we do with that? And we had to undo that way, and he's had to undo it because of the unfortunate issues.
Made us more
aware of that. Exactly.
Hold on, when we get older, we don't want to be suffering. No one should suffer the way he's suffered in the last.
When we look at our parents,
and that's important. That's the key. There is like, when you look at the older generation, and if they are suffering where they can't walk properly, or
that's a lesson for
all these struggles. This is like almost God's way of saying, look, don't ignore your health. And that's getting back to the point, because me and Mel could talk about health for ages, but I'm just conscious, obviously, of your
it's just
time.
Because I mentioned that 85-year-old self. That's why I want to get to that point.
But it's just so it's just being aware and letting others show you, okay, I need to sort this out. Don't push it aside, whether you're busy with work, whether you're busy with children, whatever, because you want to be here. If you enjoy your job, you want to be here to continue it. You want to be here to continue seeing your children grow up, or whatever it is your purpose, your goals and are for life. You want to be here to be able to live it and be healthy and productive doing it. So don't push your health aside. If you notice something, go and get it checked out, and just watch what you're doing. Just know that you're not just an external person, you're an internal person too.
Yeah. And I think also for those people of faith, it's a principle, it's a rule for us. Look after your health. This is what God's given you. It's your he's blessed you with that body. So stop treating it like a junkyard. Start looking after yourself, because when you get older, you still want to be able to worship. You still want to be able to actively do things. You want to enjoy retirement. Like, you don't want to be like, stuck somewhere where you're not enjoying retirement. You actually want to say, I do want to go out, I want to go away, travel a bit, etc. Even travel now, wherever whatever stage you are in life. So the point is that don't neglect it now, especially if you've got the opportunity to have a better elderly life. Make the changes now, and therefore you do that. And believe me, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You are allowed to have indulgent days, that is okay, but so long as the indulgent days is not 7 days a week, you're making it twice, maybe once a week, and then eventually you'll get used to it that you don't want to indulge. So it's about moderation. I think moderation is key. But eventually, the better you start eating, the more you're going to want the better stuff.
Yeah, and it's also a mindset thing. Once you explore and train your mindset to give it a go, and you'll find that actually, like Mel said, you'll be opting for the healthy things without even realizing it, because you'll train. And I believe, like, if you are a person of faith, that the more deeper you are in your faith, the more you'll be conscious of your body and
what you
get to feed it the best things.
Yeah.
So don't neglect your health, people.
Don't neglect it. Try and make sure that we've all got a good elderly life, because again, we want to make sure we've got enough strength to carry ourselves, and again, just to keep going.
So on that note,
that's it from Mel.
And that's it from Rita.
Okay, take care. Bye.